We're on the walls of Old Jerusalem. And over here is a lookout point where we can see the eye sockets of Golgotha. Come on, we'll show you that. Behind us we can see the eye sockets that General Charles Gordon saw back in the 1800s. It was this that made him realise this is the real Golgotha right here.
Even after centuries of weathering, the skull face is still easily discernible. It was a very appropriate landmark for the crucifixion site that was here in Roman times.
Matthew 27:33 tells us, when they would come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of the skull. Where Jesus was crucified was near a place of the skull. In the cliff behind us we see what General Gordon saw back in the 1880s, where the cliff had been cut through to make the quarry between here and Jerusalem that exposed a skull face.
To the north of the old city is another garden connected with the last days of Jesus' ministry on earth. Discovered in 1867 by a British general, an association was formed in Britain to purchase and maintain the property. On the property is an ancient Jewish tomb dated by archaeologists to be from the time of Christ. It is hewn out of solid rock, and the tool marks of the workers are still visible. It once had a large rolling stone to cover the doorway, as the Bible describes. In all points, it precisely fits the tomb described in the New Testament that Jesus was placed in. Down to the smallest details, like the low doorway and the interior layout, it matches the Bible perfectly.
There's some wonderful evidence that this is the actual tomb of Christ. Of course, the crowning evidence is that it matches what the Bible says. This is the weeping chamber, the site where the body would have lain. As you can see, this is large enough for a small group of people to come in, and that again fits the Bible clues. It would have had a door that would have gone from where the stone stopped here, right across to this point here. That we know from some wonderful evidence, which we're going to talk about shortly, right here. John chapter 20. Verses 11 and 12. But Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white sitting, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. We can see here a place where an angel could sit, and on the opposite side, likewise, a place where an angel could sit. The doorway is just here. Someone could look right in the door and see, just here, where the body would have lain. This is the spot where Jesus' body was, and where Mary saw the angel sitting here, and over there, two angels.
Still visible beside the tomb is an amazing piece of evidence. When the angel rolled the stone away from the door, the iron rod hammered in by the Roman soldiers was sheared off, and the remaining portion of it is still there today.
Last year they made a very interesting discovery. Just here where my finger is, there is the remains of some iron which has been hammered into the rock face. And last year there was a visitor here who turned out to be a metal engineer, and he asked permission to take away a sample, which he did, and he's dated that as 2,000 years old. Now when we read about the death of Jesus, we read that he was placed in a tomb which had not been used, that the stone was rolled across the entrance, and it was sealed. The question is, how do you seal a stone? What better way than to take a great iron bar and to hammer it into the rock to prevent the stone being rolled back?
This tomb fits all the clues in the Bible. The evidence speaks volumes that this is the genuine tomb of Christ.